Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waharakah Kadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I honor you brothers out there in the highways and the byways teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. And I'll play this.
This guy was killed over a fake Patek Philippe watch. Emmanuel Odunlami, who was 32 at the time of his death, was a music manager. He was celebrating his birthday at Haz Restaurant near St. Paul's Cathedral on the 1st of May 2022, where he paid £1,400 for a table. While at the restaurant, he was seen wearing a Patek Philippe watch, and real Pateks cost between £90,000 and £300,000. However, Emmanuel's watch was a fake. One of the security guards, named Kavindu Hetiarochi, spotted that he had been wearing the watch, so he thought it was a good idea to record him. With that recording, he tipped off Jordell Menzies, 27, Quincy French, and Louise Vandross, both 28, to steal it outside of the restaurant. There was also another security guy that was involved, named Antonis Grafuri. After Emmanuel's celebration, he walked to his car in Gresham Street with his friend, David Manuel. That's when Jordell, Quincy, and Louise jumped out of a white Mercedes that had been circling the block for a while to violently rob Emmanuel. Jordell specifically got to Emmanuel first, and when he reached him, he stabbed him in the chest, to which the blade pierced his heart. They then snatched the fake watch from his wrist, and CCTV footage picked up the audio of one of the killers saying, "Got it, got it." What makes this situation worse is after fatally stabbing the defenseless man, Jordell kicked him multiple times for good measure. They fled the scene in that same white Mercedes. Emmanuel's friend, David, rushed to his dying friend and tried his best to save him by putting his jacket over the fatal wound. That's when Emmanuel said, "I'm gone," and then he collapsed. Two men in black, who were undercover police, rushed to the scene to help the man. Ambulance arrived shortly after, and Emmanuel was gasping for air before he stopped breathing. Police officers did CPR on him, including an oxygen mask being placed on his face and chest compressions. Ambulance took him to Royal London Hospital, where he suffered cardiac arrest and was pronounced dead shortly after midnight on the 2nd of May 2022. As for the murderers, let's start with the one that instigated everything, the security guy. Cavendish was caught and sentenced to 13 years in prison for manslaughter and an extra 10 years for robbery, so 23 years in total. As for the main killer, Jordell, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 31 years. And two of Jordell's murderous friends, Quincy and Louise, was in prison for manslaughter and 7 years and 4 months for robbery. So they both got 22 years and 4 months in total. And lastly, let's not forget about that.
All right, so you see what happened there now. You know, the dude that got killed, that was a judgment of the Lord. You weren't right no way. That's why the Lord set them demons on him. But them demons ain't right either, and their judgment will come. But I want to draw attention to a scripture, a chapter. All right. The book of Proverbs, the first chapter, man. All right, because them dudes, their goose is cooked, okay? The man are in Belmarsh now, right now, smoking spice and losing their minds, and good luck to them. They finished, if they ever let them out. All right, now this is Proverbs 1:1. It says the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, the king of Israel. And you see, I guarantee you that these individuals, they wouldn't value the word of the Most High. And that's a fact, right? These jakes, they value the word of Satan. They value the word of entertainers, scumbags. All right? They will look down on anyone that wants to be good. But they despise the word of the Most High. They despise the prophets. These are the type of individuals that you're dealing with. All right? Dead, zombified individuals. And that's why you gotta stay away from Jake. Stay away from these Jakes. Stay away from these Jake women as much as possible. You gotta deal with them in small doses. And the most virulent and toxic form, you need to stay away from anywhere they at. All right? Because they're like wild animals, man. And nothing good can come from them. Nothing good can come from them. They stink. All right? They have the stench of death. But they wouldn't read this. If they had read this, they would know. Because there's no reason for them to go down the path they've gone on. I don't care what no one says. I got another video I got to do. These niggas always want to talk about poverty. These niggas are not in poverty. If you're living in London, right, you're not in poverty. Right? You got food, you got free education, free libraries. All right. There was a way for you to provide for yourself other than going out there and robbing people for their watches. But you want to do that because you think it's cool. You think it's easy, and you can make the kind of money that you want to make to fit your ego. And that's what it's all about. You're part of a toxic culture. There's no reason why that man couldn't go do laboring, learn a skill, right, and make money. But that's too boring for them. They'll rather make an excuse about, oh, man, a poor still, I'm from the ends. Bullshit. Because there's enough you in the ends that don't do what these men do. You chose to be in that life. And that's the truth of the ghetto. These niggas that's going down that path, they've been influenced, but ultimately they chose to go down that path because there were other options. They chose not to take those options. Right? It says to know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice and judgment and equity. Right? It's not justice and judgment to want to relieve a man of his watch, fake or real, because you didn't buy that. To covet, what does the scripture say? You ain't supposed to covet a man's possessions. You ain't supposed to covet a man's wife. It don't belong to you. But you see, this toxic culture that Jake has given themselves over to, whether they be in London or New York or wherever, this toxic culture that is a constant stench among our people, very invasive, promotes and uplifts this type of behavior. All right. To receive the instruction of wisdom, judgment, justice, and judgment and equity, to give subtlety to the simple. Right? You are simple minded to go down those paths because the end is destruction, and it always is. This is why the roads is a thing for young, dumb males. This is why the path of whoredom is a path taken by young women. If a woman went a whore in a young age, you would hardly find them becoming a whore in their old age, because they've seen and know better. And it's the same thing with a man. If you don't find some guy that's 40, 50 years old dying to join a gang and go onto the roads. It's something that people do when they're young and dumb and lack wisdom and understanding, and they think they can beat the system. But no one beats the system. That path you're on is the path to destruction, self-destruction. And you see, everyone always thinks that they could beat the pattern. You can't beat the pattern. You ain't special. You're normal like everyone else. And when you're on the roads, it's a sad story. Just like these man. It's a sad story for them. 30 years in Belmarsh. Good luck to you. Yeah? Smoke all the spice you want, man. Lose your damn brain. All right? To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man, knowledge and discretion. All right? Let me look up this word. Knowledge and discretion. The man are ignorant. All right? But so-called black culture is a culture of ignorance. It's a culture that lacks spirituality, it lacks logic, it lacks critical thinking. But what it does have is simplicity, ignorance, right? Simplicity and ignorance, man. Extremely toxic. And Jake are taken by it. Discretion, purpose, discretion, device, plot, purpose. All right? Good sagacity. Like to be like a sage. All right? A wise man will hear and will increase learning. Right? These men are not hearing an English. Listen, let me tell you something about the ghetto, if you didn't know. There's always a voice telling you the right way. There always was someone telling you, no, don't do that. They choose not to listen to that voice. And they chose to listen to the voices that say, do that. It don't matter. Listen, there's always a voice that tells you, nah, you shouldn't do that. They just choose not to listen to it. They listen to their friends or they listen, but there's always that one person in the ends that's telling man, yo, you man need to, that youth worker telling them, yeah, don't go down that road. They ain't got no excuse. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. A man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. To understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark saying. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Right? These men do not fear Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. They do not fear to do wrong. They do not fear to do wrong, man. All right. They think they can get away with evil. This is the arrogance of man. They think it's cool. They think they think there's something at the end of that rainbow. There ain't. There ain't nothing but a hole that you're gonna be buried in. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. Now check this out. It says, my son, hear the instruction of thy father and forsake not the law of thy mother. And at some point in our generations, in these last days, because Jake never used to be like this bad, this degenerate generation, right? Jake weren't always like that. I don't come from that. Where I come from, people weren't degenerate like that. There might be one or two people, but not like how it is now. What's happened is there's been a disconnect from any form of traditional values and a toxic culture which has come from without, which has been grown through the entertainment, through the media, and has captivated the minds of the youth, right? Has come forth, and Jake has forsaken anything which is good and has taken upon himself everything which is evil. The tattoos, the whoredom, the adultery, the covetousness, the consumerism, everything that's toxic, the hate, self-hate, right? It says, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head and chains about thy neck. The law, statutes, of commandments, and the instructions in this Bible is a chain that you should desire around your neck. But Jake say, to hell with that. I want an actual chain. And furthermore, I don't even want to work for that chain. I'm going to steal it off our next man. Crazy. My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. And that's what these gangs are. These gangs are a bunch of sinners. They're murderers and thieves and adulterers. And they're proud to do it. They actually they in their culture, it's good to be that way. And the more you do of it, the more respect that you earn, the more points you get. You put points on the board. The more you steal, the more you go jail. That's actually uplift. And it's a sick culture. When you really think about it, how sick our culture is, that the youths, that they want to go jail. It's a badge of honor for some of these men to go jail and to come out and tell man they've been in jail. Yeah, I've been in the jail. I've been in, who are you? You ain't been in jail. I've been in jail. Like, that's something to glorify. Jake has an extremely toxic and corrosive culture and mindset. And it's mainly pushed through these goofy rappers and entertainers and these influencers and this media, these stupid little podcasts that are being set up, and a lot of these people are agents, and the what they pushing out there is toxic. That's why I don't even like. I try to cleanse my algorithm. I don't even want to see it because I know exactly what it is. Acidity, right? My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us wait for blood. That's what they did with that guy. Let us lurk privily. They were lurking. They were driving around the block waiting for him. Let's lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Now, by innocent meaning they're innocent to them. They might not be innocent to the Most High, but they're innocent to them. That man ain't done nothing to them for them to want to go take his watch. Let us swallow them up alive. That's actually a saying Jake have over there. Eat, man. Pause. But that's what Jake would say. He ate, man. Meaning he took what he's got. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and whole as those that go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. They wanted that Patek or whatever the hell it is. And Jacob here loves stealing watches, boy. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. So if any of them goofy dons there had read this scripture and took heed, they wouldn't be sitting down somewhere in the pen over a fake watch. They wouldn't be sitting down for the next 30 years. And it's probably going to be more than 30 years. Because that man probably got IPP on top of that. And while they're in there, they're probably going to get into a bag of madness with all them other animals in there. That's going to just keep adding time. They ain't going to give them no parole. Because they're a dangerous society anyway. That man are probably in there smoking up a bag of spice. Mine's gone. You know how many times man have come out of pen and just got into the slightest. I remember one time I was at work. Brother come out of pen and tried to stab up our next man in the locker room for no reason. Just tapped. Dude's just mentally just destroyed, man. Keep them in there. That's what I say. That's where they belong, because you bring them out here with civilized people, they're just going to do more madness. Not for these Jake just need to be put down. They don't belong on the streets. All right? Because they'll come and stab you in the heart for the least of things. To hell with them. Right? My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path. Don't roll. Stay off the road. Stay off the corners, man. Don't go where they go. Don't par with them. They're just going to get you in trouble. Oh, it's all fun and games, but in the end, it's going to be a sad story. That's what it's going to be. Yeah? And you seen paid in full? In the end, it's just going to be a tragedy, a sad story, a waste. For their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. Man just rolled up and stabbed man in the heart for the watch. No long thing. Didn't have no regard for the man's life. Hate, because he even booted man in the head after, because he hates the fact that this man's got his things. They're haters. Surely in vain the net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. And they don't understand that when you do those things, the Most High gonna get you back. And so really you're doing it to yourself, because the judgment's gonna come back on you. And they that lay wait for their own blood, they lurk privily for their own lives, which is what makes it foolish, because the judgment of the Lord is gonna come back on you in whichever way the Lord chooses to bring. Could be the police, could be other niggas, could be whatever. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Right? The man need to read this scripture. But you see, so many of our people, man, they neglect and despise the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that's why they make the choices that they do, because it's a choice. This is why they have the mindset they have, because their mindset isn't guided by the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Their mindset is a worldly mindset, the most toxic of mindsets. And that's really what it comes down to. The way you think is your culture. Look, man, you go to Japan, I've seen it where they can put a table out with products on there, leave the table with a jar and sell products. You can't do that around Jake. Someone's gonna steal it. I remember when Beanie Man came to visit Brixton, and one Donny just tried to snatch his chain with everybody there and run off with it. They had to catch him and beat him. Jake are crazy. Now in Japan, if you get caught for stealing, a lot of them man commit suicide because of the shame it brings to their family. Jake don't even care about shame. Jake ain't got no shame. Jake wanna be a criminal. They think it's cool. Totally destroyed in the mind. There's no shame no more. And why is that? It's the culture, it's the mindset. It's what they perceive as good and what they perceive as evil, what they perceive as shameful, what they perceive as something to be honorable. They honor that which is dishonorable and dishonor that which is honorable. Totally acidic. Anyway, that's why the wisest thing to do is, you can have nice things, but you got to keep it low, man, because Especially if you're gonna be, because in this world, man will come get at you for them things for real. Cause there's some real demons out there, and they don't want to work. They don't want to work. They want to take what you work for. They want to take your car. They want to take your bike. It's a joke thing. From their own people too. They don't give a damn. That I'm gonna say shalom.